is Roswell Wolff. I'm the president of Sigfox Asia Pacific region. That's the territory covering between India and China, as well as Southeast Asia, and in particular Indonesia, which is one of our newest and largest markets. And I'm responsible for working to identify new partners as we enter into new countries and new territories. In Indonesia, we've established a distributor partnership with Sigfox Indonesia, who will deploy and manage our network, remembering that it's an open access network, so people are buying connectivity through subscriptions only. They don't have to bear the cost of the network. Well, of course, Indonesia for us, Sigfox, is very important because it is one of the most populous and one of the largest landmass areas in Asia Pacific region. Now we see worldwide that there's a common use case for Sigfox. We refer often to massive IoT deployment. And these are typified by devices that are sending very small packets of data in very high volumes, both nationally and internationally. In Indonesia, as in many other parts of the world, we see that one of the number one use cases for a Sigfox connected device is in asset tracking. And at the top of that list is probably the logistics and supply chain industry, who have millions and millions of pallets or trolleys or individual packages that they need to track, both on a national level, and if you're looking about the strong manufacturing and export base coming out of Indonesia, for assets that would be tracked post-production and exported to international markets. We also see very strong applications in the agricultural space in Indonesia. Now, you're still tracking an asset in many respects, so it's not different, but the agricultural applications of it are important because of the high productivity in the palm plantations for palm oil in Indonesia, which is a number one source of GDP in the economy there. We see use for warehousing and manufacturing cities in the managing within their facilities, whether it's temperature control or the storage and management of equipment within a warehouse, or in workforce management. Well, the good news is that there's already an ecosystem. You know that Sigfox, the way in which we operate, we follow the regulatory allocation of spectrum for radio devices. So every market we have to be compliant with the regulation of the market. The good news is that Indonesia has set aside the spectrum which is consistent with the rest of the Asia Pacific marketplace. So all of the other countries within Asia Pacific, and indeed in many South American countries, are working within the same spectrum. And therefore we have many of the nearly 700 certified partners that Sigfox has already have devices that are compliant to operate within the Indonesian marketplace. I would also say something about the overall environment for IoT or connected solutions for businesses. If we start on the basis that it's about big data, it's about businesses accessing information about their products, their services, their customers, or even their operations to add value to their business, or for smart city governments to add value to the citizens in the form of connected services. There are many, many different technologies that are available. And what businesses are finding now that it's no longer a matter of either or. They're not having to make choices of selecting one form of technology or one form of connectivity only. More and more we're seeing so-called hybrid solutions, where you have solutions that may be using a 3 or 4G connection to transmit a high volume of data in a national environment, or a private Wi-Fi network working within a warehouse. But those applications and those uses don't work outside of the original use case or within that confined environment. So we're seeing more and more hybrid solutions where you have Sigfox working alongside a 4G or indeed 5G solutions to deliver value to the business, where the type of data that's required will use a different part of the technology or a different connectivity to be able to do that. So for Sigfox, we've described this in the form of a 0G network. It helps people to place that within the use of communications technology, where we are complementing those different types of technology, whether it's RFID, Wi-Fi, 4G, or traditional cellular technologies, in combination with Sigfox, which really allows businesses to operate a different class of assets, in many cases non-critical assets, where they're reserving 4G or 5G connections for more critical personal health care, emergency service. So we see this coming into the Indonesian marketplace really to create more opportunity rather than be in competition with other types of technology.